All right, everyone. Second update here, and some more good news, and getting back to some sanity. The Olympics finally decides to ban transgender people from the Olympics. It's ridiculous that we've had to come to the point where we've had to look at men pretending to be women, and then consider this, mull it over, do some science work on it, and figure out, a dude pretending to be a woman is still just a dude. And we probably shouldn't have them competing against women in women's sports. But it took them some time to come to their senses. It took Trump coming into office to say the quiet thing out loud. And now the Olympics has banned transgender athletes from the Olympics. And finally, some common sense. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Winter Olympics in Italy are just over 12 weeks away, but the International Olympic Committee may be on the verge of a major announcement that could bring its policies in line with the Trump administration ahead of the 2028 Summer Games in Los Angeles. It is reportedly set to ban transgender athletes who were born male from competing in all women's Olympic events. Nick's here with the details. This sounds like a really big change potentially, Nick.
This would be big. Anna, it would be a huge policy shift for the IOC, which until now has let each sports international governing body set their own policies centered on transgender inclusion. It would also mark a big change from the IOC's 2021 framework, which said there should not be a presumption of advantage when it comes to trans athletes. The reported push comes after IOC President Christy Coventry vowed to protect the women's category before being elected in March.
What I would like for the IOC to do is to bring everyone together to try and find a consensus amongst all of us that we can all get behind and that we can implement. And above anything and everything else, it's fair and protects the female categories.
According to the British newspaper The Times, the IOC will issue the ban sometime early next year, citing a new scientific review that found evidence men have a permanent physical advantage over women athletes even after hormone therapy. However, the Guardian newspaper says the ban...
It took a scientific review to figure out that a dude's a dude and a woman's a woman. I mean, what amazing, exciting times we're in. Did you ever think to yourself when you were younger that when we got to 2025, that you'd have a flying car, you'd be like the Jetsons? Or we'd be taking our vacations in a hotel orbiting Earth? No, like a bunch of fucking idiots, we'd be trying to figure out that men are men and women are women, and that there are distinctions and biological facts between the two. I mean, what amazing fucking times we live in.
Could still be a year out, and that the IOC is facing pushback to a possible ban on athletes who were reported female at birth but have male chromosomes and the same testosterone level as men, also known as differences in sexual development.
No fucking shit.
Athletes like South Africa's Caster Semenya, who won gold at the London and Rio Games before track and field's governing body, World Athletics, banned DSD athletes from competing as women in 2023. While the IOC has issued a statement saying no decision has been made, the reported policy change would bring them in line with the Trump administration. Back in February, President Trump signed an executive order banning transgender athletes from women's sports, which he intends to apply to the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Anna, it's worth noting that despite the talks...
And that's so good. I don't know why more women haven't stepped up to speak out about this and defend themselves. I mean... You know, women have fought for equality for a couple of 100 years, and then they finally get it, and then a dude in a dress is winning Woman of the Year. And women are like, oh my God, she's so brave and beautiful. Like, what is wrong with you women? This woman was finally standing up for women everywhere. I guess she's a health enthusiast. She might have her own show or kind of a TikTok channel, and she has a whole bunch of followers. And she ended up exploding, I think, at like a Gold's Gym. And for this dude who turns out to have a criminal record and be a criminal and a domestic abuser in the women's bathroom. In fact, the female name that he gave himself, it has now come out that he took the name of, I think it was Alex, of the woman that he was domestically abusing at the time he was in a relationship with her. And now he's at this gym pretending he's trans, going into the women's bathroom and derobing in front of everybody. Here's some of this.
There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay.
A popular singer-songwriter claims she was booted from a Gold's Gym in Los Angeles after getting into a heated, caught-on-camera confrontation with a transgender woman she had filed complaints against for using the women's locker room. The controversy exploded when Tish Hyman posted a video of a brief shouting match with the transgender gym-goer, who was dressed in all black and accessorized with a pair of dangling earrings.
No, now he knows how to be a man, right? Now he knows how to be a man. Stay out of the women's locker room. He needs to have his gym membership revoked for that. And the woman told him. He assaulted me. The girl told already. We already filed reports. You can't get rid of me for this. I'm a woman and I have every right to not want a man in the restroom when I'm naked. There are girls naked in there. Look at them walking in there like it's okay. It's not okay.
In her Instagram post, Hyman alleged to her 250,000 followers that she and other women at the gym filed, quote, written reports on this man for coming into our women's locker room, harassing us. Hyman was escorted to the front of the gym moments later, where she claims that her membership was revoked. In a video filmed by a passerby, Hyman could be seen reaming out the gym staff shortly before she was booted from the facility.
Men! Grown men with big in the women's locker room! And that's why I'm getting kicked out, and I want to make sure the girls know! Everybody saw that man in the...
So good for her for doing this. I 100% support her on this. And shame on everybody else that's just ignoring her like she's the crazy person in the town center saying, the end is nigh and the apocalypse is coming. Like, shame on them. They should all be saying, we 100% agree with you. This is wrong. We're also uncomfortable with this dude being in the women's locker room. They should be standing together. And instead, they're just... oh, don't acknowledge the crazy person. The crazy person is in the women's locker room currently. So kudos for this woman for having the guts to just go out there, say all this. Now, the dude that's going into the women's locker room still has his membership. She has been kicked out of Gold's Gym. I hope she absolutely sues, and she absolutely is California, so she's probably got an uphill battle the whole way.
The viral interaction wasn't the first between the pair. Hyman had previously filmed a separate confrontation with the same person in the locker room. In Hyman's post, which had the audio removed, she wrote that she had confronted other trans women in the...
This person told me he was a woman and demanded that I leave the women's locker room. He said straight women like... I'm assuming cock, they're blurring it out, and they're probably looking at me more than you. Gold's Gym staff said their hands were tied by law. They couldn't make him leave. I was naked, scared, and being yelled at. He called me a bitch in front of everyone. A young woman was also in the bathroom. She froze up, completely traumatized, and later thanked me for being there with her. I've been told I could lose my music career if I speak out. But I'm a woman before an artist, and I stand for what's right. Good for her. This is wrong and extremely dangerous. Any man can claim to be a woman and walk into women's spaces, putting us at risk of harassment or assault. I have kindly confronted these trans women on 4 different occasions, and on all I was met with anger and disrespect. And this is what these guys do. They're so goddamn lazy, they can't even put on some makeup or fucking lipstick. They just walk around in their half shirt and whatever, acting like a queer, and then pretend that they're a chick and walk right into the women's bathroom. I mean, the entire thing is absurd no matter what they do. But these ones they put zero effort into it. And they're in there because they want to see other women. He's still a straight guy. He was in a heterosexual relationship before he decided to very conveniently be trans, take the woman's first name of the woman that he was domestically abusing, and that's what he calls himself now. He's a sick, twisted individual, and they get their rocks off of doing things like this. It's a sexual fetish for them to be able to go into the women's bathroom and be stopped. If you were a dude in a plaid shirt and blue jeans, they would go, get the hell out of here right now. What are you thinking going into a woman's room? But if you're some sissy-looking guy dressed up like this, and you walk into the women's bathroom, and they go, "Oh, I'm sorry, trans, hands are tied." The whole thing is a scam. It's absolutely ridiculous.
The gym's locker room on 4 separate occasions, but was met each time with, quote, anger, disrespect, and total disregard. She also wrote that there was a young woman present in the bathroom at the time of the interaction, who she claims froze up, quote, completely traumatized, and later thanked her for being there with her. The transgender woman at the center of all the drama has since been identified by TMZ as Alexis Black, who broke her silence about the viral confrontation to the outlet. In an interview with TMZ Live on Tuesday, Black insisted she is entitled to use the female facilities and wouldn't be comfortable in a trans-only locker room. You're not going to put a trans woman with a trans man just because we're trans, she said. That seems like a whole new envelope of discrimination.
Or would it just
Black
be a couple
told
of dudes
the outlet
together?
that she is currently in the lengthy process of transitioning and still has male genitalia. However, she claimed that she is registered as a female on her driver's license, changed her name, and has been taking hormones since February, which she says she expressed to Hyman. She also went on to assert that she was registered as a female with the gym. She says the gym is assessing her own membership as a result of the controversy. Initially, they said we were in the same boat. They phoned me and I'm not sure if it's written in red ink or what, but it's definitely being evaluated, she said. The Los Angeles Gold's Gym, which was recently acquired by EOS Fitness, has yet to address the controversy. The viral spat isn't the first of its kind to take the internet by storm. An Alaskan woman had her Planet Fitness membership revoked last year after she took a photo of a, quote, man with a penis at one of the gym's women's locker rooms.
I felt like I was in an unsafe space. And so I'm probably going to go report this to the police today, but I just want to tell Samantha and Joe that work there and own it, thank you so much for canceling my membership. You saved me the trip.
According to Planet Fitness, the woman violated policy regarding taking photos and or videos in the locker room.
But it wasn't nothing violated having a dude walking around in the women's bathroom. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. I've been against this since day one. I absolutely think the whole thing is ridiculous. It shouldn't be happening. And just one final thought here about the normalization that they try to do with this. Think back to, 10 to 15 years ago. Or when you were in school, you were at home, sitting at home having conversations around the dinner table. You were never having the discussion about, oh yeah, there's a trans kid in my school, or oh yeah, dad's got a weird trans person at his job, and that's really weird. You never had those conversations. It slowly happened over time. And what they've attempted to do with this is normalize it. It doesn't matter if you end up being an ally and supporting it, or you're 100% against it. The goal is to just get people to have the conversation, and then in having the conversation, you normalize it. So you go from, no, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. A dude that's pretending he's a woman? What are you talking about? To, oh yeah, trans people in the female bathrooms. Yeah, it's like the new thing. I've got one of those at my gym. You see the jump that's happening there. You don't have to support it. It's the fact that you're having the conversation about it. The conversation about it invites the monster in. You are normalizing it at that point just by talking about it and acknowledging a thing that should never have been a thing. And this has been the goal and the push by the left and by these mentally ill people to get this in everybody's orbit and make it a normal thing. It's just to have it as a conversation, just to have everyone talking about it at the water cooler, and then either having to choose one side or the other. You're an ally, you're supporting these people, and you're playing along with the delusion, or you're talking about it and saying you don't support it, but you are acknowledging that it exists. And either way, that ends up being a win for that camp. So this whole ideology needs to die out and go away completely. It was like the emo phase when you were in school. Everyone was dressing in black with the black eyeshadow and the jeans that had 50 zippers. And then eventually you got to a point where you were like, oh, I have to get a job And I have to grow up now, so I can't really be like, I hate my mom, I hate my life, and, you know, I want to cut myself, and all that shit. You were like, oh, okay, playtime's over. I have to grow up and be a real adult now. This has been this dangerous thing that's been permeating in schools, except it didn't end in school. And this ideology didn't end outside. And on top of that, every company and every industry ended up adopting it as well and making it. So imagine saying, no, just be emo everywhere, dude. Just walk into work and be emo. And just be all black, red makeup, cuts on the wrist or something. Whatever the fuck you want. Just show up to the corporate office with that. And they did it with this, and they allowed it to explode out into mainstream. So there was protections for it everywhere. And then these people got sucked into this, and now this is what you get. You've got them in women's gyms. You've got them in the Olympics. You've got them in the bathroom at the Walmart that your young daughter is using. So I hope to see more women fighting back. Kudos to her for doing that. And I hope this is an ideology that just dies out like the dodo bird. It needs to go away, and we need to return to sanity. We need to protect our women and protect our daughters. That's important. And they need to have their safe spaces when they go anywhere. All right, thanks, everybody. That's the updates I've got for today. Like, share, support, and subscribe to the show. Thank you, and I'll talk to you all again real soon.